Greetings, everyone. So today I wanted to talk about narcissists. It's always on you. Everything is always on you. It's your responsibility. It's your fault. It's your job. It's your assignment. It's your duty, blah, blah, blah. It's your duty, blank, blank, blank. It's never on them, ever, 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 ever. They do not have the capacity to do self-reflection. In fact, they don't care. Because the toxic tactics that they have been using their entire lives have worked for them. And, you know, the word narcissist is not so important at this point in time. It could be, you guys know what that is, right? It could be toxic person. No matter what the subject is, no matter what the problem is, no matter what the holiday is, no matter what the birthday is, no matter what the infidelity is, no matter what the cheating is, no matter what the stealing of your money is, I mean, fill in the blank. It's never, 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 never on them. It's never their fault. It's never has anything to do with something they did. It's always on you. And my personal experiences with narcissists, and I think of the few that I've dealt with throughout my years. Well, I've dealt with more than a few. But the people that I'm thinking of, in my case, lazy. Lazy does not even begin to cover some of the narcissists that I've dealt with. So it's going to be on you to drive to see them. It is going to be on you to call them. It's going to be on you to make the reservations at the restaurant. It's going to be on you to pay the water bill. It's going to be on you to finish that project by Friday, which technically is the boss's work, but because he doesn't get it or he's lazy, he passes it on to you. And then, to top it off, takes credit for your work. It's always, always, always on you. And when it comes to menial work, and I don't say this as if certain household tasks are menial, but I use that word because in the narcissist falsely constructed ego, false sense of self, they have to exalt themselves above others at all costs. So they might create a painting project, and then of course they're in charge, right? Whether they know about painting or not, they're going to make you do all the manual labor while they stand there and do nothing and tell you how to do it. It's just what they do. They will make you do their household work because they are above doing household work. They are above sweeping. They are above ironing. They are above cooking. They are above preparing food. They are above all of it. They're too good to do that because it's this false identity that they've created. Everything is always on you. You have to come to them. You have to get the plane ticket, fly out to see them. You have to drive 20 miles to go see them, even though they live in the same city you live in. Because blah, blah, blah. They don't have a car, or they ain't got the money, or whatever it is. You will be running around in circles to please these people. At this point in my life, I have pretty good radar. And of course, I'll probably get tricked once or twice again in this lifetime. But I'm better at deciphering toxicity, narcissism, cruelty, abusiveness than I ever have been in my life. Unfortunately, I had to learn this by being abused from different people. So, it doesn't matter. Sorry, I keep yawning. It's really hot and humid here and it's hard to breathe. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. They will take that mirror and reflect it right back at you because they are not guilty of anything. In fact, I would venture to say a lot of narcissists clog up the courts like constantly, probably driving everyone crazy that's working in the court system. And, there's various reasons for that. But the narcissists always want to come out like they're the greatest individual. And honestly, a serious red flag would be them wanting to get photo ops, look at me, look what I'm doing. We opened this, homeless shelter or this new center for abused children. And don't get me wrong, some people there are doing good work. But with the narcissist, it's always what's external to other people. They are the best fake criers. They are oftentimes people that are giving these big speeches and, all eyes on them. In fact, the book that I'm reading that I told you guys, if you want to read it, you should. Miss America by Day. It's very interesting. It's very sad, but Marilyn Van Gerber, her father was always giving speeches. Like he was just loved by everyone, very, very wealthy. But meanwhile, for, I think she said like 12 or 13 years, she was getting AR'd by her own father every night. You see. But in the public eye, everybody just thought he was this great guy. That's what they do. They have to let everyone know how wonderful they are. But again, back to what I started here with. It's always on you. It's on you to buy the turkey. It's on you. I don't want to get into too personal details here. But let's say you know somebody who's getting married, right? And instead of absorbing the costs the way, modern day couples do, unless you're really wealthy, or unless you come from a really good family that have saved up money to pay for your wedding like they did in the old days, a narcissistic person is going to plan their wedding, all eyes on me, all eyes on me, all eyes on me. And then meanwhile, it's going to be other people's responsibility, which is, which they assign to you, to purchase items to make their wedding, decorations, etc. It really happens. It's real. So, I had to learn the hard way after years and years of going through this stuff. It's always on you. If for some reason you're going to a family gathering and you're running a little late, even though your husband, who's a narcissist, is taking his time, didn't get up early enough, didn't set out his clothes, can't decide which shirt he wants to wear. He's made everyone in the family late, but guess what? He's going to blame it all on you guys. It won't make any sense. Why do you guys always make me late? Why am I always late all the time? Because of you. That's what they do, man. I do my best now to just stay out of their way if I can. I think most ranters, I think most people that rant are narcissists. Not every single one of them, but the ones who want to go blah 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 blah, and then they draw a crowd. They might be in a store, or they might even be on YouTube. Blah 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 blah. And why this? And blah 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 blah. It's all to get attention. They have to have attention, which in narcissism is called narcissistic supply. Let's say you're having a family barbecue, that your uncle has invited like a bunch of family members. Well, he's the person who initiated the barbecue. It should be more his responsibility to buy the meat. And even, it might even be fair enough to split that up with a few family members. But because he's a narcissist, he puts it all on you. And you go ahead and buy the meat because if you don't, you're never going to hear the end. Until you start learning about abusiveness and narcissism and toxicity, you'll tolerate it because you'd rather not deal with the backlash. And they're very arrogant about the things that they do. So again, in the barbecue, it's always on you. It's your responsibility. And then you can feel all the tension like in your neck and your upper back. That's where I hold a lot of my tension. And you're not really sure why you got all that tension, but you know why it is? Because a narcissist just put all their crap onto you. And the only, again, like I say, the only thing you can do is don't engage. There's no other way with these people. Now, I do understand, and Dr. Romani has talked a lot about it, that there are situations where people, they have to stay or they decide to stay. And she talks a lot about radical acceptance in those situations. Just go check out her videos. You're not going to change them. In fact, if you ever try to bring up that they're a narcissist, which I would not recommend, it's going to get so bad for you. And then they're going to start calling you a narcissist. And then they're going to bear down on their behaviors even harder than they did before. It's all about control. And what comes with control? Abusiveness. What comes with people who want to be the best and the smartest and the prettiest in the room or whatever it is? Because internally they don't have the best self-esteem. They have to knock other people down. And one way that they're gaining control is that no matter what the situation, no matter what the subject matter, everything's always going to be on you. You have to drive to see them. You have to pick up the steak for the barbecues. You have to make the doctor appointment for your husband because he's too lazy. You have to make the dinner reservations. You have to pick up the liquor, whatever it is. And then, heaven forbid, that you don't get the right thing that they wanted. You'll never hear the end of it. Or let's say you get there 5 minutes late, depending on the narcissist. It's all a big game for them. They don't even have their brain is not even wired the same way that ours is. The amygdala has to do with post-traumatic stress and fear response. But if you look at what is it called? The PET scan of a brain of someone that has narcissism versus someone who does not have narcissism, the part of the brain that is responsible for empathy, they don't have any. That right there, I'm much better at sensing at this point in my life. So as you guys know, I'm going through cancer treatment. my detector's pretty high anyways, but I'm very well aware of people that do not have empathy. They just don't have it. So if I'm around a person like that, I'm out. I'm out. It doesn't take me long. Maybe I learn something about them, or maybe I can sense they don't like that Tupac Shakur. They don't give a fuck about us. It's a fact. It is a fact, man. So, I mean, I know there was a situation. In fact, there were quite a few situations in my life where I was always playing Mr. Nice Guy. Mr. Nice Guy, or Mr. Nice Woman, Mr. Nice Gal. All the time. Nice girl. People that see you as a nice girl will take advantage. Not everybody does that, but people that are more exploitive, they will do that. Next thing you know, you're driving them all over the city. They didn't give you any gas money. Or, it's your job to come and see them all the time. You're paying for the gasoline. You're a single person, no other person to help you, but you're always paying for stuff. Actually, right there, that's a big one. In fact, I think Ollie Matthews might have done a lot of videos on cheapskate narcissists. And honestly, too, some of the cheapskate narcissists, they have a lot of money. It's all about like control. And also, too, making you feel lesser than. I've heard stories of extremely narcissistic fathers that have a lot of money. And if their son does not do exactly what they want him to do for a career or for college, they take away the money. 100%. Control. All about control. So, I do hope this is helpful, but if you did a diagram, if you wrote down on a piece of paper a diagram, narcissist, and then it's always on you, and then you put a little circle around that phrase, and then put a little branch out, and you'll see how many different situations where it always comes back to you. Always. It's always your fault. It's always your responsibility. It's always your job to do something. It's always, you have to do this, etc. It'll help you really understand how their defective minds work. Have a good day or a good night. I do hope you enjoyed this. Peace.